Okay, one of the things that we did in class here is this represents one line at a time. So in this particular example with the 10 rows, this could get executed 10 times. I need the indication when this is done. So I'm going to copy this line of code right here, Control C. And this represents line by line events. This represents when this is finally closed. So when this is finally closed, I'll have some data. That means all the data got finished with. So this is what I want to do here. I'm going to say here, console log, and let's print out the rows just to see if it works. I'll run that. Let's go to report, and there goes the data. But remember, the whole idea of that is this console log right here does not help me on the outside world, meaning that when somebody's calling this function, it needs access to this data from the outside. This is still inside of the function. So this technique is not going to work either because I can't do anything with the data because it's still inside of the function. I need it outside of the function. All right, so this is what we did in class. I'm going to put here the word callback. And the word actually doesn't matter, okay? It should just be a valid variable name. So by looking at this, this looks like a function with one parameter. I'll go then up here, and this function has to be defined somewhere. That's going to be an input variable that comes in. Well, I'll say here, callback. Make sure you spell it the same way. So right now, the file name takes in two parameters: the name of the file and a callback function. And in this case, this function takes in one parameter. And if you remember, the shortcut for writing a function is we can say here, I'll say E arrow function, and then I'll say here console log, then I'll print out E. So remember, parameter 1 will replace the file name here. Parameter 2, which is this whole thing right here, which is a anonymous function, will get replaced here. As it goes down to the code, when it is finished, it'll come here and say, this is the last thing we do. What do you want me to do at the end? I want you to execute this function. What is this function? This function is this guy right here that got passed in, which is this right here. We can now save it. Let's run it. And now this looks like the same data, but the whole idea is that this data is on the outside now, okay? So I want to go back for a second. This is useless now. The return doesn't do anything in this case. And just to see it work, I'm going to copy this. And instead of this, I'm going to say 73. I'll run it again. So now the report, one is for this guy right here. This is the 10 rows, and down here is the 73 rows. So I was able to execute both of them, okay? But I have to use this callback technique. And the next one, we'll do some math with it to see how would I really use this in a real world scenario.